Hello and welcome to Accessible Yoga with me, Sarah Green. Thank you for joining me today. In our session today, we're going to be looking at back strengthening postures. So let's start on our feet. When you're ready, coming all the way up to standing. So step to the top of your mat, maybe have the feet about hip distance apart. Just let the arms rest down by the sides of your body. And we'll begin our practice, as we always do, by simply starting to connect with our breath. So when you're ready, gently close your eyes and just begin to allow your breath to flow in and out through your nose. Softening into your jaw, let the shoulders drop down and away from your ears. With the palms facing forwards, perhaps setting an intention to open yourself up to your practice today. To open yourself up to the physical sensations you may experience, the energetic shifts that you may perhaps experience. And approaching everything with a sense of having an open heart. Start to observe the natural pace of your breath and begin to allow it to deepen. As you inhale, the breath travels down toward belly. As you exhale, you retract belly button to spine to empty. Full breaths in and extended breaths out, helping you to focus, helping to take you out of any stories or memories flowing through your mind, and arriving here in your body as it is now in this present moment. Maybe with the eyes closed in this standing position, you can feel that natural swing and sway of the body, that gentle, subtle movement. You can feel the way the weight is distributed in your feet. Perhaps you start to press the ground away a little more strongly through the feet. You begin to activate through your thighs a little bit more as you draw up through your kneecaps. The belly gently draws in and the bottom subtly tucks under. As the shoulder blades draw back in together, the chest becomes slightly broader. As the crown of the head is drawn skyward, we find slightly more length through the back of the neck. Begin to spread and extend out through your fingers and your fingertips. Start to feel your hands energizing. And let's have an intention to keep this deep breath flowing as we move today. So taking a full breath in. On your exhale, flickering open your eyes, bringing your hands to prayer position at your heart center. Inhale, stretch your arms up above your head and move your gaze drishti toward your thumbs. Exhale, split the arms and begin to twist yourself toward the right side. Breathe in, stretch the arms up above your head. Breathe out, split the arms and twist to your left. Flowing with our breath, inhale, stretch up through your fingertips. Exhale, soften your knees and begin to fold yourself forward with a nice straight spine. Fingertips reach in the direction of the floor, doesn't matter if they don't quite touch down. Touch into chest, turn your gaze to your belly button. Breathing into a flat back shape now, so lift through crown of head, hands moving onto the shins and drawing the shoulder blades away from your ears. Exhale, tilt the pelvis as you forward fold. Again, don't worry if fingertips aren't in the floor here, soften into the knees. Breathe in, stretch the arms above the head once more, rising up, gazing toward your thumbs as you reach. Exhale, prayer hands to heart center. Good, a few more times like this. So breathe in to reach up through your arms. Breathe out to soften your knees, drawing in the belly as you begin to take your fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift through your chest, hands to your shins. Find length from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Exhale, forward fold, tilting the weight towards your toes, look up to your belly button. Breathe in, stretch the arms up, look up as you reach through your fingertips. Breathe out, hands to prayer position at your heart center. Inhale, stretch hands to sky. Exhale, soften your knees as you fold, so release, protecting the low back in this movement. Inhale, lift and open through the chest, find your flat back shape. And this time as you exhale, bend the knees enough to get your hands flat to the floor. Step your feet back, finding almost like a high plank shape here. Press the mat away with the palms. And on your out breath, lower both knees down to the floor. Start to bring the chest and belly all the way down also, skimming the side ribs with your elbows as you lower. Take a moment to lengthen the tops of the legs out along the floor, pointing through the toes and activating your thighs. The hands rest underneath the shoulder blades and we draw the elbows back and together to open the chest. Low cobra variation. Inhale, lift your heart space. Draw the shoulder blades away from the ears a little further. Keep the tops of your feet plugging into the floor and gently float the palms of the hands just a couple of centimetres or a couple of inches away from the mat. Nice big breaths here. Starting to switch on our low back, using our low back muscles to lift us a little bit higher. Take another full breath into your heart space, and on your exhale, hands underneath forehead, rest your forehead down into your hand. Deep resting breath in, full exhale out. Well done. On your next breath in, looking forwards. This time, let's bring the hands behind the back. Either interlace your fingers, or if that doesn't feel right for you at the moment, you can hold on to the opposite wrist, or maybe even hold on to opposite elbows. Take a full breath into your chest, keep tops of feet plugged into the floor. Exhale, lift your heart space away from the mat. Squeezing the palms of the hands together and reaching through the hands in order to give yourself a little extra lift away from the floor. Deep expansive breaths in as you lift the chest slightly higher away. Big breaths out as you press the tops of the feet into the mat, maybe even squeezing down into your bottom to get an extra lift. Take one more full big breath in here, and on your exhale, create that pillow for your head by piling your hands one on top of the other and resting the forehead down. Full breath in, deep and expansive breath out. Take a moment here to rest. Good work, okay. Let's take that same arm variation for this side. So again, either interlacing the fingers, holding on to opposite wrist, holding on to opposite elbows. Do what works best for your shoulders. Take a full breath into your chest. Exhale, lift the chest and the legs this time. So you're lifting your toes as though you're trying to tap them on the wall behind you. The thighs are lifting up and away from the floor. You're drawing up through your kneecaps. Take another full breath in to see if you can lift slightly higher through your chest and reach through the knuckles of your hands even further. For 3, 2, and 1. Gently come all the way down. Really nice. Hands underneath the forehead. If it feels like a good release for your low back, maybe bend the knees and just gently sway your feet from left to right. So firing up those back muscles, helping us to build some strength in that space. Return to that deep and purposeful breath. And then gently find your way to stillness. Stretch your legs out along the mat again. I'm going to wiggle myself back slightly now. So, here's the pinnacle. This time, reach your arms alongside your ears. If this is too much for your back, you can come back to our first variation, which we are cobra with no hands. Pulling through your toes, pull up through your thighs, take a nice full breath in, Exhale, lift your arms and lift your legs as high away from the floor as you can. Think like you're trying to tap your fingertips on the wall in front of you, your toes on the wall behind you. Legs are active, you're squeezing into the glutes, pulling up through the thighs, pointing the toes as firmly as you can. Holding it here for 3, for 2, and for 1. Gently release. Good. Take your forehead onto your hands, big sigh out through the mouth, and again here, if it feels good, to release your low back, bend the knees, and gently sway your feet left to right. Nice job everyone, well done. Okay, we're going to roll all the way over onto our back now. So very gently, take your time, and all the way round. So, take a moment. The back of your head on the floor, shoulders planted. We're going to do a little ab exercise, which is just going to be the low body movement. So we're trying to access our lowest abdomen. I'd like you to draw the knees into your chest and flex your feet. We're going to take frog legs. So the knees are going to come wide. Try to keep the knees lining up with the hips and with the heels. So you're kind of creating this right angle shape for your legs. And place the arms alongside your body on the floor with your palms facing down. So the back of your head and your shoulders will remain grounded throughout this practice. And actually, if you have a trouble of keeping your low back on the floor, you can slide one of your hands underneath your low back to remind you to keep pressing it down into the floor. Take a nice full breath down into your belly. Press your low back down into the mat, and on your exhale, lift up your tailbone. Think about curling your pubic bone up towards your belly button. Hold it there. Inhale, relax your tailbone back down to the floor, but keep your low back pressing down into your hand or into the mat. Exhale, curl up through your tailbone, lifting the bottom up away from the floor, squeezing your low belly down, thinking pubic bone moving up toward belly button. Inhale, relax your tailbone down to the floor. Big breath in. Press your low back down into the mat. Exhale, curl up your tailbone, lift it up as high as you can, squeeze low belly down, think pubic bone moving towards your navel. Good, inhale, relax tailbone down to the floor, press your low back down into the mat. Exhale, lift your tailbone, curl pubic bone toward navel, squeeze your low belly down strongly. Inhale, tailbone to floor, just one more here. Press your low back to mat, exhale, curl up through tailbone, draw low belly down for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Well done. Maybe you want to take a couple of circles out through the knees just to mobilise the hips. Maybe you want to stretch the legs out along the floor to the full body stretch. Just do whatever feels best in your body. Really good job. Okay, let's roll ourselves over to one side and find our way up into a standing position. So coming up onto your mat, take your legs nice and wide. So my gauge for how wide my legs should be is always to reach up through the arms and just make sure that my wrists stack over top of ankles. So turn your toes in slightly and the heels out slightly. So we're kind of pigeon-toed here. Inhale, stretch up through your fingertips, reach up through the arms. Exhale, a gentle bend in the knee so we're not locking out into the joint. Draw in the belly and take a forward fold. So taking the hands down, if they don't quite touch down to the floor, you may want to bring your hands onto the front of your shin. Now as you inhale, think about trying to lengthen through the crown of the head. So the chin touches to the chest, the back of the neck is long. There's one line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And you're gently starting to bring yourself slightly deeper. And don't worry if the crown of your head isn't on the floor, if your hands aren't touching the mat, that's absolutely fine. You're just moving at your own pace. So in this position, yes, hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch for the backs of your legs, but we're also thinking about extending into our lower back as well. I'd like you to rock the weight forward so that you're kind of more dominantly in the balls of the feet rather than in the heels. And you'll feel the pelvis tilting as you do that. Relax your neck, let go of the weight of your head and just breathe here. Allow gravity to do the work. This is a fantastic posture for opening up the low back You're someone who suffers with sciatica, we're creating a little bit of space in the low back so that there's less or no pressure on the sciatic nerve. So nice 4 big breaths here. And then full inhale. Take your fingertips onto your hips. Press down through the feet. Maybe keep that softness in the knees as you gently come all the way up to your standing position. Well done. Heel toe your feet just slightly closer together. Just make your stance slightly shorter. Let's move into triangle pose from here. So I'd like you to turn your right toes out toward the top of the mat. Keep your back toes turned in ever so slightly. The legs will remain straight, but try not to lock out the joints. Maybe just keep a slight softness in your knee creases so that you're still engaging through your thighs and you're protecting your joints. Inhale, stretch your arms out alongside you, relaxing the shoulders but reaching through fingertips. Breathe in as you reach through the right hand and exhale as we begin to revolve the arms around. So the left hand stretches up toward the sky. Roll the shoulders back to create a little bit more space through the front body. Now, think about the tummy button drawing in here. And we want to almost have a sense that we're bringing the spine into one plane. So to do this, I'd like you to send your hips a little bit further forwards, pressing them toward the wall in front of you, leaning the upper body back ever so slightly. But notice if as you draw the upper body back, the rib cage flares out here. We want to avoid that. So keep the tummy active, so we're still really knitting our ribs into the torso. Extending out through the crown of your head. Hopefully feeling a gorgeous stretch up through the left side of the body. Make sure that you're not kind of allowing all of your weight just to rest down into that right hand. Keep reaching up through the top fingertips. One more full breath in. And on your exhale, soften into your knees slightly, come all the way up to the top. Good, let's take that all to the second side. Hands to hips, right toes turn in this time, left toes turn all the way out. The legs are straight. We breathe in to stretch the arms up, reach through the left fingertips, and exhale to revolve the arms around. Again, remember to have that slight softness in the knee joint. You don't want to lock out into the legs too much, and reach up through that right hand as much as you can. So we're not just letting the whole weight of the upper body dump down toward the front leg. Shoulders roll away from the ears. Think about your chest rolling up to face the ceiling. Nice big breath into that gorgeous release through the right side waist. Shoulders move away from the ears as we breathe. Tummy button draws in. Hips press forward. Upper back leans a little bit further behind you. Spine is in one plane. Another full breath in. Now on your exhale, soften into the knees. Press the mat away. Come all the way up to the top. Well done, well done. And gently step your feet back together. Excellent work. Let's come down onto our bottom once more. So let's talk about forward folding. Generally, there's a misconception that in yoga your legs need to be straight and you need to touch your toes. This is not always great on the low back. If I can't touch my toes and I keep my legs straight as I reach forward, what I end up doing is straining my low back rather than stretching into my hamstrings. So, one of my favourite variations of forward folding is to bend the knees and draw them into the chest. Now you might be holding onto your ankles here. If you're able to take hold of the outer edges of your feet, you're very welcome to do so. I want you to feel this connection between your torso and your thighs. And we're going to keep this connection as we start to move slightly deeper into the fold. As soon as this starts to happen, we've gone too far, so we need to bend the knees and come a little bit deeper inwards. So I just want you to gently and slowly walk your heels further forwards, walk your bottom a little bit further back until you start to make your way slightly deeper into your fold. So let go of that idea that your legs need to be straight. Keep that softness in the knees and this length through your low spine. So the low back is completely passive here. Tuck your chin to your chest and take some nice big breaths here. Relaxing through your shoulders, softening into your jaw. Just let the breath come and go naturally. Take 3 more big breaths. Maybe you find that you've got a little bit extra space on your exhale to shuffle your hips back and your heels a little further forwards. And just sitting with the sensations Any emotions that come up when you start to move into your finger palm. Maybe you're flexing the toes a little bit further. And full breath in. And then you exhale gently and start to come through your abdomen. Well done. Okay. Finding your way onto your back now. Soles of feet to the floor, reach the hands towards, and gently, slowly release yourself all the way down. As you touch down, take the arms nice and wide, and we'll finish with a twist. So I'd like you to hug the right knee in toward the chest. The left leg stays extended along the floor. Shuffle your hips over to the right just a couple of inches, and then start to allow the right knee to move across the body. Keeping the backs of your shoulders firmly planted down to the mat. It really doesn't matter if this right knee doesn't touch the floor. But you can allow this right butt cheek to lift up and away. Full breaths in and deep breaths out. Twisting is so incredible for our spine. Each of our vertebrae has a little sac of fluid underneath it or between them. And we strengthen our spine by moving it in all different directions. So laterally, side to side, backwards, forwards, and also twisting. So just really enjoying that sense of release. And allowing gravity to do most of the work here. As you breathe, you're just gently being drawn deeper into the posture without too much conscious effort. One more full breath. Slowly start to make your way back up to the top. Second side. So, hips come back into the centre of the mat, right leg stretches out, left knee moves in toward the chest. And this time you want to shift the hips over to the left slightly. So this left butt cheek can lift away from the floor as you draw the left knee across. And don't worry about getting the left knee down to the mat, it really doesn't matter. Keep your shoulder blades grounded to the floor and just stay with your nice deep breath here. This is a very deep twist. It's one that you may have to just be patient with yourself on. Relaxing down your shoulders, maybe even closing your eyes. Starting to bring down your energy. And we'll full breath in. And then slowly come all the way to the centre. Wiggle the hips back into the centre line of your mat and find your way into final relaxation. So if the low back is a little bit tense today, soles of the feet mat width, knees together, or if you're feeling okay, maybe you're stretching the legs along the floor. Hands resting where it feels comfortable and intuitive for you. And gently closing your eyes. Let go of a sense of controlling your breath. Just start to observe the kinds of thoughts that start to bubble up through your mind. Let those thoughts play out, but try to avoid getting caught up in those stories. Allow them to play out and then pass through. Relaxing your joints, letting everything go. Nothing to do but relax. gently bring your awareness back into your body. When it feels right to do so, introduce some small movement through your fingertips and your toes. Maybe taking a full body stretch if that feels good, or hugging your knees into the chest. In your own time, gently taking yourself over to one side. Eventually pressing yourself all the way up to find yourself in a comfortable seated position. The hands move to prayer position at the heart center. We take a full breath in through the nose, a deep breath out through the mouth. With gratitude to you for sharing this practice with me today, taking your prayer hands up to the space between your eyebrows, lengthening up nice and tall. Peace in your thoughts. Prayer hands in front of your lips. Peace in your words. And finally, hands in front of your heart space. Peace in your actions. Namaste, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for this practice today. Looking forward to seeing you on the yoga mat again very soon. Any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them down in the chat box below. Otherwise, remember to subscribe to switch on the alerts if you enjoyed this session and would like to see more. Have a lovely day. Thank you.